Time for a recap of the earthquake that shook Michigan early this afternoon. I haven't seen any reports of aftershocks at this time, so I don't know if we'll have those or not. I did see a couple reports of conspiracy theorists who claim that the United States government set up atomic bombs underground and thus caused the earthquake today. And don't put any stock or credibility in that, but they're out there. But the earthquake was unusual. I will say that. And it's the second strongest on record in the state of Michigan. This report from MLive was published about 4 o'clock this afternoon, Saturday, May 2nd, 2015. The earthquake centered in Kalamazoo County that shook Michigan and was felt in other Midwestern states early Saturday afternoon was the strongest in more than 60 years and the second strongest on record in Michigan. On August 10th, 1947, an earthquake measuring 4.6 on the Richter scale had its epicenter near Coldwater, near the Michigan-Indiana border. Saturday's earthquake, which was centered 5 miles south of Galesburg, was a magnitude 4.2 and could be felt in parts of Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin. We've got reports that it's been felt all across the state of Michigan, said Paul Caruso, a geophysicist with the U.S. Geological Survey in Colorado, adding that the strongest tremors could be felt near Scotts in southern Kalamazoo County. The intensity of an earthquake measuring 4.2 on the Richter scale will typically cause house shaking. People might see their chandeliers swing back and forth. Books will fall off from shelves, he said. But it's unusual, Caruso said of Saturday's quake. We've seen these kinds of earthquakes in Michigan before, though these events are very uncommon. The unusual aspect of this earthquake, Western Michigan University professor of geosciences David Barnes said, isn't necessarily its strength, but rather its origin. When rock breaks, there are energy waves that travel through the earth, and typically in Michigan we feel the movement of these waves, not have the breakage occur locally, he said. Normally, the earthquake shocks we feel around here are energy waves transmitted from a considerable distance away, Barnes said, citing geological activity near the New Madrid fault line in southern Illinois, Kentucky, and Missouri, a region which typically transmits tremors to the Great Lakes. We don't really have those sources of energy to form or break rocks in Michigan, Barnes added. Apparently, this earthquake originated 5 or 6 miles deep, and that in itself is pretty unusual. In the 15 years that meteorologist Ernie Ostunu has worked for the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids, he's never experienced anything like Saturday's earthquake. That's the first one I've ever really felt, Ostunu said. It was probably 10 to 15 seconds long. He said, adding that he felt it in 2 waves, broken up by a roughly 3-second pause. We had reports from all over, he said, of the immediate response, and Michigan residents were shaken. We have something like 1,000 comments on our Facebook page from New Zealand to Gobles, South Haven, Saginaw, Midland, Traverse City, but there's been no structural damage that we've heard of so far, he added. Pat Wright, director of the Kalamazoo County Emergency Management, who felt quake from the 8th floor of the Borges Medical Center, said, as of early afternoon Saturday, no significant structural damage had been reported in Kalamazoo County, despite it being at the epicenter. We talked to Consumers Energy, who said they've had a couple of reports of people smelling gas, but everybody seems to be doing good, he said. And with that, let's take a brief look at Michigan's earthquake history. This is from the U.S. Geological Service. The earliest recorded earthquake tremors felt in Michigan Territory, statehood came in 1837, were from the Great Series of Shocks centered near New Madrid, Missouri in 1811 and 1812. As many as 9 tremors from the New Madrid earthquake series were reported felt distinctly at Detroit. A damaging earthquake apparently centered between Montreal and Quebec in the St. Lawrence Valley and occurred on October 20th, 1870. This shock was felt all over the area, estimated to be at least 1 million square miles, including Sault Ste. Marie. Between 1872 and 1883, a number of moderate earthquakes were centered within Michigan, and on February 6, 1872, 3 shocks lasting 30 seconds were reported in Winona. No additional information is known about these tremors. Reports from Redford and Greenfield Village, not far from Detroit, indicated a minor earthquake occurred on August 17, 1877. It was noted that horses were frightened during the shock. Some persons reported hearing a noise like a train. On February 4, 1883, an earthquake cracked windows and shook buildings at Kalamazoo. This shock was felt in southern Michigan and northern Indiana. Cities as distant as Bloomington, Illinois, and St. Louis, Missouri also reported feeling this particular quake. The destructive earthquake that hit Charleston, South Carolina on August 31, 1886, was felt as far north as Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and probably in parts of Michigan. On October 31, 1895, Charleston, Missouri, experienced a major earthquake, considered the severest shock in the central U.S. region since the 1811-1812 earthquakes. The 1 million square mile felt area included a part of Michigan. A moderate earthquake of intensity V was felt at Menominee on March 13, 1905. A series of unusual occurrences in the Keweenaw Peninsula mining area form a significant part of the seismic history of Michigan. The first disturbance was on July 26, 1905 at 6:20 in the evening. At Calumet, there occurred what appeared to be a terrific explosion. Chimneys fell with a crash and plate glass windows were broken. The explosion was heard far down in a mine, and the shock was felt all over the Keweenaw Peninsula area and as far away as Marquette, about 70 miles southeast across Lake Superior. 10 months later, on May 26, 1906, a similar phenomenon occurred. Train rails were twisted, and there was a notable sinking of the earth above the Atlantic mine. The disturbance was reported felt over an area of about 30 to 40 miles in diameter, and another shock occurred in the same region on January 22, 1909. A rumbling tremor was felt around Houghton and was believed to be caused by the crushing of pillars in a mine. The earthquake of August 9, 1947 damaged chimneys and cracked plaster over a large area of south-central Michigan and affected a total area of about 50,000 square miles, including points north to Muskegon and Saginaw and parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. The cities of Athens, Bronson, Coldwater, Cologne, Matson Lake, Sherwood, and Union City in the south-central part of the state all experienced intensity 6 effects. Reports of damage to chimneys and some instances of cracked or fallen plaster, broken windows, and merchandise thrown from store shelves were common over the epicentral area. A number of earthquakes centered outside the state have been felt in Michigan. Noteworthy among these are the following. February 28, 1925, St. Lawrence River region, northwest of Murray Bay, Quebec, Canada, felt area approximately 2 million square miles, intensity 5 at Grand Rapids, Newberry, and Whitefish Point, Michigan. November 1st, 1935, Timiskaming, Quebec, Canada, 1 million square mile felt area, and was felt at Alpena, Hillman, Mount Clemens, Pelston, and Port Huron, Michigan. And then on March 2nd and 8th of 1937, Western Ohio, 150,000 square miles felt area, a second shock felt at many places in southern Michigan. September 4th, 1944, St. Lawrence River region between Massena, New York, and Cromwell, Ontario, Canada, 175,000 square miles felt area in the U.S., felt at Alpena, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Lansing, Saginaw, and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. And then November 9th, 1968, I remember that one, South Central Illinois felt an area approximately 580,000 square miles, including all portions of 23 states, felt throughout the southern Michigan. I also personally remember one that was, I believe, in 1999 or 2000. I was working for Saginaw Publishing here in Saginaw, Michigan, and I was with another guy down in the basement working down there, and we felt, the strong jolt. And it turned out that that was an earthquake, but I have no further information on that one. So as of right now, that's it. If there are any further developments, I will bring them to you as soon as I can. I think it's safe to say that the government didn't set off any nuclear bombs underground to trigger these, although there will be people who, no matter what you say, will feel they know the truth, and that's what happened. Actually, it was just a natural occurrence without any conception by anybody else.